Good morning and Sai Ram to all the students. Welcome back. I hope you all are learning from your online classes. Students, in our last session, we had started our chapter number 1 of Civics, Understanding Diversity. In this chapter, we had covered many topics. First of all, let's take a small recall. What is diversity? The wide variety of something is diversity. What is diversity? The wide variety of something is diversity. In this chapter, we had covered language diversity, religion diversity, region diversity, and cultural diversity. And with the help of map also, we have covered this topic. Second, inequality and caste system. Now, let's move on to the another topic of our NCERT book, diversity in India. As you know, our India has a rich culture. Here, people from many backgrounds living here, and they all are enjoying their liberty. So India is a country of many diversity. We speak different languages like Punjabi, Malayalam, Urdu, Garhwali, Parsi, many. Have various type of food, idli sambar, and you can say idli sambar, makki ki roti, different food we have. Celebrating different festivals, Pongal, Gudi Padwa, Baisakhi, Guru Purnima, practice different religions like Buddhism, Jainism, Jews, Parsi, Islam. So, India is a country where everyone can follow their religion. So, we can say India is a country of many diversity. Here, people from different background enjoying their liberties. We speak different languages, have various type of food, celebrating different festival, practice different religions. Now let's see one more thing. Geographical diversity. Now with the help of map in the last session, I tried to make you understand why we have a geographical diversity. As you can see, at the north we have mountain region, in the middle we have plain region, and at the south we have coastal region. So you can see in our country itself, within the boundaries of the country India, we have variations, we have diversity. People of Jammu and Kashmir feel cold when the people of other states enjoying the monsoons. So we have the geographical diversity. Similarly, people also adapt their lives according to that reason. Okay, so diversity also comes when people adapt their lives to the geographical area in which they live. Like if I'll go somewhere, if I'll go at the hilly area, so I have to adapt that condition. Okay, so diversity also comes when people adapt their lives to the geographical area in which they live. Now, people living near the sea is quite different from living in the mountain area. For example, let's take two examples which is also given in your NCERT book, Kerala and Ladakh. So people of Kerala living near the sea, so their lives are also like that. They used to eat fish, they do fishing business, and they use water transport as trading. On the other hand, people living in the mountain area, they can't eat fish because there is no water availability there. So they used to eat other meat animal available there, and to make themselves hot they used to wear woolen clothes, and because in hilly area there is no good amount of agriculture, so they are busy other production of like pashmina shawl and something. So the life of the people basically depend on, or in which area, in which region they live. If the people live near mountain area, the life is totally different from the people those who live near sea or coastal area. Now this is the map. Now you can see in this map Kerala and Jammu Kashmir, and Ladakh is situated in eastern part of Jammu Kashmir, and Kerala is situated southwest southwest part. Okay, so now you can see Kerala is near the coastal area and it is surrounded by sea. So because it is surrounded by sea, the availability of fish is more here. But Ladakh is situated in Jammu Kashmir, a mountain area. So here the condition, the climate is totally different from the Kerala. And you can see one Kerala is in south, or Ladakh is in north. So you can see the diversity in region itself, because as I told you, in our country the diversity is in boundary itself. So similarly people also behaves like that. Now let's start with Kerala. First of all, very important, located in the southwest of India. Okay. Second thing, surrounded by sea. First, located in southwest of India. Second, surrounded by sea. Now, as people of Kerala do business in spices also, and the main spices of that region is pepper, cloves, cardamoms. And the main spices of that region is pepper, cloves and cardamoms. Because Kerala gets good amount of rainfall every year, so they are having a very good fertile land, and that is very good for rice. So in Kerala, because they are having a good amount of rainfall every year, so this good amount of rainfall is very good for the rice. Clear? First southwest, second surrounded by sea, main spices pepper, cloves and cardamoms, and good fertile land. Now, as in second point we heard that it is surrounded by sea, so of course the main occupation of people of that area is fishing, because fishes are easily available and in abundant. So fishing is the main occupation. Jews and Arab traders came and settled, so this region is also influenced by Arab traders, because Kerala has its own history, which we will study in our history chapters. So here many people, or the area or the region is affected by or influenced by Arab traders who came and settled there. There Christianity also spread by many people, and the writer Ibn Battuta wrote about the life of Muslim there. So Kerala is full of culture. Ibn Battuta also wrote about life of Muslims. So we have read about Kerala, like it is situated in southwest, surrounded by sea, spices, pepper, cloves, cardamom, and good fertile land, fishing main occupation, influenced by Arab traders, spread of Christianity. Ibn Battuta wrote about the life of Muslim. Let's move on to the Ladakh. Ladakh. in the mountain of Jammu and Kashmir, eastern part. So in the mountain of Jammu and Kashmir, eastern part. And the main thing, Ladakh is a cold desert. Everybody knows about the desert. What are the conditions of a desert? So Ladakh is the cold desert and there is very scanty rainfall. So that's why no agriculture. Scanty rainfall, so that's why no agriculture. I am repeating these 3 points again. In the mountain of Jammu and Kashmir eastern part, Ladakh is a cold desert and having very scanty rainfall, so no agriculture. Now next point. Because it is a cold desert, so land covered with snow throughout the year, no agriculture. So what are people are engaged in? Act of wool making, and their sheeps are the main source of wool. So Pashmina wool is very famous there, and people used to make Pashmina shawls and other item from that wool. So sheep is the source of income there. Sheep is the source of income there, and Pashmina wool is very famous in that region. Now food. What is staple food there? What they eat? Because there is no agriculture, so they have to depend on the animal meat. So meat and milk. Meat and milk is the main food item there. Now other animals, goat, cow, doge. Doge also known as yak cows. They are the other animal which people are using for their production purpose also, their other purposes also, for their food also. And on cows and yak cow, they used to travel and take their things from one place to another, or you can say they use them as a trade purpose also. Now trade route for caravans, Tibet. Tibet is a main trade route for caravans, and one important thing, because this region is near to the China, so it is influenced by the Chinese also. And the trade route for caravan, Tibet, and the main things are textiles, spices and silk. So they are doing trading in textile, spices and silk. As Kerala is influenced by Arab traders, Ladakh is influenced by China. So these are some points of Ladakh. Let's take 2 more points. Now because this region has influenced of Buddhism and Islam both. Buddhism and Islam both, that region, because it is near to the Tibet. So Buddhism and Islam both. And this Ladakh region, the culture of Ladakh, rich in songs and poets. They are good, they are having very good amount or good kind of songs and rich in culture and poets. So this is something about Ladakh. Now, after doing this geographical diversity, let's move on to the unity in diversity. Now, unity in diversity. Unity means oneness, and diversity means variation. As we have variation in our food habits, variation in our clothes, variation in our languages, as we have variety of everything, since still we are one, we are together. So this is the another topic of our NCERT book, unity in diversity. How we are one, how all the people from the different backgrounds are one, what make them one. So despite so much of difference in languages, religion, region, culture and so on, there is a kind of unity in our nation. Or we can say that unity has been witnessed throughout the independence year. The movements of freedom, when people had to struggle for their freedom, when they fought for the freedom. British have tried. So this unity witness in our movements of freedom. Second, British have tried to do this divide and rule. They want to divide us and rule on us, but ultimately they failed because people from different background knows that India is our country, and they came together and fought together. Now let's talk about Jallianwala Bagh massacre. As everybody knows what Janna Dyer had done, they shot many people there. But the main thing in Jallianwala Bagh, the people from different culture, whether they are Muslim, Sikh, Isai, Hindu, poor, rich, without any caste barrier, without any inequality, without any language barrier, they lay down their lives for their country. People in Jallianwala Bagh lay down, they were gathered there together to do protest against the British, but there, because of that Janna Dyer, they lay down their lives in sake of freedom. So here also they have shown the unity in diversity. Now, songs, symbols, anthem given by Rabindranath Tagore also show the unity in diversity. Now, in Discovery of India by Jawaharlal Nehru, as we can say Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, he said, unity is not something imposed from outside, but rather it was something deeper and within its fold. And first, he coined this phrase, unity in diversity. So these symbols, these songs, anthem brought everyone together despite of their diversity in their language, religion, caste. Some are Hindu, some are Muslim, some are rich, some were poor. They all came together, they fought for their country, and they brought independence. So here I hope you all understand this chapter, unity in diversity, and this is a very important chapter. As I told you, this chapter is a stone for other chapters, and by this chapter we can easily understand how our country is diverse from each other, still we are one. Along with this media, I am sending you one worksheet also, student. Try to find out the worksheet in the description box and solve it and submit it. Thank you and Sai Ram.